What's up, everybody? You're very welcome along to this special interview. I was delighted to be able to catch up with Rory O'Connor. You probably know him best as Rory Stories, the guy who does a bit of sketch comedy and is a fantastic advocate for mental health and mental health services in Ireland as well. It was a real pleasure to catch up with Rory, and I think you're going to enjoy the conversation ahead. A bit of a disclaimer, it does get heavy at times. We speak about trolling, we speak about our own issues and our own involvement in the mental health sector in Ireland, so please keep that in mind while you're watching it. This isn't the most light-hearted of videos, but we do get into some serious issues, and I think Rory's certainly somebody who speaks with great experience and great knowledge, does the circuit, speaks to young kids around the country as well. My own daughter was somebody who was able to benefit from Rory's experience as well when he visited her school. So with that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed the video. But beforehand, we are of course being brought to you by our good friends at manscaped.com. Manscaped, the world's leader in male grooming products, are back with the all-new Performance Package 4.0. Forget your 3.0. That was so yesterday. Imagine using a 3.0. No. Ladies and gentlemen, you can get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com simply by using the code CraigStation at checkout. The performance package for Manscaped is absolutely top quality. Inside it, you'll find the Lawnmower 4.0 with a 7,000 RPM motor, a 4,000K LED light, and a travel lock as well. You'll also see the Weed Whacker in the pack, which is the ear and nose hair trimmer. Both the ear and nose hair trimmer, aka the Weed Whacker, and the Lawnmower 4.0 are both waterproof as well, so you can practice grooming in the shower if you so wish, or wherever. If it's raining outside, you want to do it in your back garden, that is up to you, ladies and gentlemen. I do not judge. Also, with the Performance Package 4.0, you get not one, but 2 free gifts. I know what you're thinking. Is it the ball toner? No, that comes included. Is it the ball deodorant? No. That also comes included. The free gift you receive in the Performance Package 4.0 are the boxer briefs. They are really comfortable, really good quality. And you also receive the Shed. We call it the Shed. What you guys would probably call it is a travel bag. Really good, sturdy kit. Put it all inside there. Take it away with you on holidays, wherever you're going. Make sure you've always got Manscaped with you, because your balls will absolutely thank you later. Don't forget, you can get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com just by using the link below and our code at checkout, CraigStation. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoy the chat with Rory. What's up, everybody? You're very welcome along to Craig Station, and my guest today probably needs no introduction to any Irish people out there. It is, of course, Rory O'Connor, aka Rory Stories. Rory, how are you, sir?
Good, Craig. Good. Not a bother.
Glad to hear it. That's question one out of the way. Good, we got a W on that one. Look, I open up every single one of these interviews, Rory, with a question that I have, and it throws people, so I'll try and ease you into it. I'm obsessed with something called shrinkflation, which is basically where, and an example that I could give you is the tins of roses, Cadbury's roses at Christmas. Over the years, they've gotten smaller, but the price hasn't really gotten that much cheaper. So is there any item out there that you can think of that maybe when you were a child or growing up that these days you either have to pay a lot more money for, or the size of it shrunk down to next to nothing?
Oh, wow. Jeez, talk about catching me on the hop. I actually got a bag of Mighty Munch. They're Monster Munch when I was growing up.
Yep.
Only recently, like that, I curled it up and just seeing the crisp, and I was like, you know what, we are being done in at the minute. Like, you know, it's just ridiculous. Like, you used to get your money's worth. So that comes out to definitely at the top of my head is bag, a lot of crisps, not just Mighty Munches, crisps in general that, you know, they're just acting a maggot with them, like, you know what I mean? And they're definitely not 10p anymore either, you know what I mean? So,
yeah, a few of the greatest hits on these ones have been like Chomp Bars, as an example. They used to be 10p when we were growing up and things like that. Yeah. And I'm old enough to remember going into the shop with £1 and getting a can of Coke, dairy milk, and a bag of Tato for me game of football, and coming out with maybe 2 or 3p change. But these days, it's just getting ridiculous. You're going to buy a chocolate bar and they're this size. They're tiny little things, and yet they're €1.30 or whatever. I'm obsessed with this. Like, I'm obsessed with that and portion sizes and stuff. So that just always catch me. I had Al Foran on last week, and he was talking about it as well. And it's something that most people don't understand or think about till I bring it up, and then they kind of think in the back of their head, actually, yeah, Jesus. Now that I think about it, even, do you know what I mean? A packet of cornflakes or whatever it is, they've all just gotten smaller and smaller and smaller.
I know, and my mind is racing now as you're saying it, like thinking that. But even there's one thing you left out of your bar, your Christian drink was the resting jellies. That was definitely my housing estate was up to the local shop here. It's just across the road, and it was always like your Banshee Bones, Banshee Bones. They're amazing. Like your
They
little
are, aren't
bottle of
they?
your little bottle of TK, your Wham bar, or your one of them bars, and then the resting jellies. And some of the old ones up there used to count them, and then we used to have this one called Anne, who we all loved, to just put the hand in, no matter how many p it was, and you got a whopper amount of jellies. So we always waited for when Anne was walking them and then and got them. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, you used to get the 10p bags or penny jellies, as we used to call them, and then you maybe pay 5p for the giant cola bottles or something like that.
The giant cola bottles, yeah.
Those days are gone, my man. Those days are gone.
You have me all nostalgic now. Here, do you want to talk about the Mighty Ducks and Cracky Kid while we're at it?
I could throw in Rocky as well, Rory. We could keep going here. This could be just a nostalgia fest. Right, let's go to a few quick fire questions then. And these are fairly straightforward enough. Favourite chocolate bar?
The plain dairy milk.
Good man. Do you notice, by the way, while we're on that, do you think they've changed since they got rid of the foil? Do you remember they used to come with the foil and the paper around them? The dairy milks.
Yeah, so it used to be foil and then the wrapper. Now it's just very good. Geez, it's only now you say it that it rings a bell, yeah, because it was nearly like you had to. Yeah, you're right.
Remember they used to boast about a glass and a half of milk in every one of the large bars and stuff like that. But I find now they've gotten a bit more oily or something in texture, the dairy milks. Again, I'm bringing you back to your youth again here, Jesus. We'll be talking about Italian 90 in 5 minutes before we know it.
Yeah.
Go-to takeaway. If you were to have a takeaway, what would be your go-to?
Chinese.
Yeah, I think most Irish people, you probably agree with you. There's great value in a Chinese, isn't there?
Yeah, like there's a couple of... There's meant to be one in Finglas there called the Young One or something like that. It's meant to be like the best in Dublin, like, and Finglas isn't a million miles away from here. Everyone raves about it, but my local one is called the Royal Inn. Do a great chicken curry, like. So I need to be a tad hungover to really enjoy it, like, do you know the kind of way to really kind of enjoy it. You have to have a bit of a head in you, but no, that's my go-to takeaway anyway.
Yeah, I'd be the old Irish favourite: chicken balls, fried rice, chips, and curry sauce. That'd be about me now. That'd be as adventurous as I'd get. Here's the big one, big Irish question here for you now: Keogh's, Tayto, or King?
Tayto.
Oh, it's a big call, mate. I'm a Keogh's boy. That's a big call, Rory. You didn't say King. I'll give you that one.
I only live a few miles from Tayto Park, so I can't let them down. Like.
Only in Ireland, mate, because we have a theme park dedicated to a potato. It's beautiful. And that roller coaster, that wooden roller coaster is amazing.
Yeah, and what a place as well, like that. Kilcullen is not. Yeah, Kilcullen's actually it's really good for Ireland. Like, if that makes sense, you'd expect it to be a lot shittier than it is. It's actually very good. Like,
yeah, it's brilliant, and they're always adding on to it. They're always looking to do it, and it's great to see an Irish company like that put themselves out there and try it. Like, it's brilliant. I'm glad it's been a massive success story for them. And I don't know if you've ever even been in to have a bit of grub in there in the lodge or whatever in Tayto Park, but it's beautiful. The food's top notch.
I'm only like less than a 10-minute drive from Tayto Park, so I've been a regular, obviously before lockdown and that. But no, it's a great place, and it's something that we're kind of very proud of in me to have that kind of a facility, because people come there from all over the country, as you know, and it is a really great day out for the family. Like,
I had me Debs in Meath, actually. I don't know if it's still there, but it was in the Vortex nightclub.
Oh yeah, the Sticky Vortex it's called. Yeah,
that's where I had me Debs. Yeah, all the way back in 1999. A long way back, mate. A long way back. Right, a couple more for you. If you're in charge of Sunday dinner, the missus says, Rory, you're cooking the dinner. What's your go-to dish?
Turkey and ham.
Oh, that proper.
With the stuffing. Stuffing in the middle. It has to be like.
We've got one rule in my house: is my wife absolutely loves cabbage, bacon and cabbage, absolutely loves it, but I can't stand the smell of it. So it's the only thing I said to her when we got married is, please, none of us cook any cabbage in this house because it stinks the place out. So the neighbours usually cook the cabbage and would bring it in, like, they're that nice. But turkey and ham.
Yeah, has to have a bit of cranberry sauce with it. I love me cranberry sauce, so it's not the same turkey and ham without cranberry sauce. So that's me.
Turkey and ham. Tell you what, you didn't take the easy route there. Fair play. So Messi or Ronaldo?
Ronaldo.
Ooh, big call. That one, big call. United fans will be delighted on that one. Tea or coffee?
Coffee. Good.
You see that? Here we go. Now we're on the same page, because my wife's tea, and I don't get it. I don't understand the fascination with tea. It used to be, I'd have friends, Rory, and you might be the same growing up, where the mother would say to them in the morning, would you have a bit of breakfast? They say no, and they go, at least have a cup of tea. Like that was going to make any difference at all to your physical health, having a cup of tea in the morning. But it's usually an Irish thing. Here's a difficult one now. I've only got two more before we get stuck into the big stuff. Pacino or De Niro?
Oh, that is a hard one.
It is. It's horrible. I'm really putting you on the spot here.
Oh, God. I'm going to have to say De Niro.
Yeah, I'll do my answer as well.
Yeah, like De Niro, like, you know, Goodfellas, obviously, but he's hilarious in Meet the Parents, like, do you know what I mean? So that's where he gets the nod, where Pacino's obviously, like, what sticks out straight away is his speech in Any Given Sunday. Like, it's the best speech ever in a sport film. But just De Niro, yeah, I'm going to have to say De Niro, yeah, even though I love Al but De Niro, yeah.
The inches are right there in front of our face. Yeah. All these inches. I remember that. I was only saying to Connor, I watch that speech probably once a month just to get myself hyped up, because it is, if anybody hasn't watched Any Given Sunday, it is one hell of a speech.
I listened to it so much when I was playing football, and yeah, it just definitely gets the blood racing. It's an unbelievable speech, like.
I'm the same as you. It was the comedy aspect for me that would tip De Niro, because they're both amazing. Obviously, they're both probably the greatest actors of air, and maybe even the generation before us time. They're both fantastic, and I'm glad we've got to see them both and the amount of films they've made in our lifetimes. Last question before we get stuck into the normal stuff: beach holiday or adventure holiday?
Adventure.
Yeah, I thought now this will lead me into talking about the TV show that we were just speaking about a minute ago. But see, I'm lazy. If I go on holidays, I want to sit by the pool with a book, listen to podcasts, and not move. That's me for 2 weeks or a week or whatever it might be. But you do strike me as more of an adventure type of lad. And we were saying there's only so much you can talk about. You have recently taken part in a show for Irish television that you said, you know, you're well known as a mental health advocate, somebody who, you know, does the country very proud, speaks very openly about their feelings and what they've been through. Did this show that you took part on bring anything home to you, or bring any feelings that maybe you haven't felt in a while right up to the fore again?
Yeah, like so it's called Ultimate Hell Week, Special Defence Forces, which it's actually starting on RT1 tomorrow night, and it runs then for 6 weeks every week. So yeah, like I signed up because I'm a big fan of the show before this, like, and this is the first, we'll say, celebrity one they're doing, even though I hate the word celebrity. I think it's nonsense, because yeah, I just don't understand celebrity, like why people are famous and all. It doesn't make sense to me. But anyway, that's what it's called. So there is people in it who will say are well-known faces. And I just wanted to go into it and see how far I can go physically and mentally, and then use that then for the rest of my life. For whenever I'm struggling, whether it be working out, whether it be with mental strength issue, that I can always revert back and say, remember what you done in Hell Week. So that's the main reason I took on the challenge. And honest to God, Greg, I wasn't on the island 5 minutes, and I was like, what the hell are you doing here? Like, I never experienced something to go from 0 to 100 miles an hour so quickly. And people who watch the episode tomorrow night will know what I mean. Like, it's just fucking insane what they make you do. Like, but listen, no regrets. Done is I left it all out there. Couldn't do any more, and I'd never do it again. 100% no. But I learned a lot about myself, and I'm proud of how I performed on it. Like,
just moving on to the mental health aspect of it, one thing that I've noticed with traits in people who have been to the depths and come back and have shared their story is, a lot of the time we look to past things for inspiration, like you said a moment ago about Any Given Sunday and stuff like that. One thing as well, there's always times when we don't think that there's a way out, or we think that there's, you know, the whole world is against us. And what I found, the thing for me that gets it is, I never left the house. I was somebody who didn't leave the house at all, Rory. And the thought of something, the looking at something, the worst aspect of something, it's always 10 times worse in your mind, isn't it, than when you actually go and face your demons, or face the event, or face whatever it is you're looking forward to. It's mad how we build these issues up in our mind, and our mind can bring us to places that isn't really natural, but feels it to us at the time, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, I fully relate to you. And speaking of great actors, one of the other favorite ones is Denzel Washington, and I think he nails it. And he says, "If you can tame the devil within, the devil outside can do no harm." And I always use that. So a lot of the time, we build a false world in our head. Like as human beings, we're wired to think negative. It's just I don't know. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a psychiatric nurse, but from my experience, is we always turn towards negativity, and especially Irish people as well. We're kind of really bad at that. Like never looking at the positive side of things. Like we're giving about the weather, about money, about the government constantly. But like law of attraction works both ways. Like if you think positive, you receive positive. If you think negative, you receive negative. And I only figured out in the last 5 or 6 years with Rory Stories. Like up until that, I was like, God, I'm useless at this, I'm useless at that, and I just kept stumbling through life until eventually I started to open my eyes and I realized that I'm good at this kind of sketch making or telling stories, whatever, and it just made me look at the world in a different light now. And I'm a massive believer in positive vibes. Like I really do believe, like if you put good out there, it'll come back to you. Do you know what I mean? Like it's something that I'm very passionate about, and it really does work. Like and it doesn't take that much hard work just to be nice to people. And I just mean by just being not an arsehole. Like that's all it takes is just treat everyone. That's where I go back to the whole fame thing. Like, and I'm sure you might have seen, I know you're a Liverpool fan, but the Alex Ferguson documentary, the way Fergie goes around and, Cristiano Ronaldo and David Beckham and Rio Ferdinand are just important to him as the person in making the salad for the lunch, and he makes sure he says hello to them. And I'm a big believer in that. Like, and I've read up enough about really successful people, and they have that attitude. Just never judge anyone any different just because they're money, they're famous, they're successful. Just like, and that's what I carry in life is, is just being nice to people. Because I got, I won't name the person because it's not nice because they're deceased, but I got a real kind of life lesson off a well-known Irish singer. And I went to see them live when I was 16 years of age. And my dad said, go and ask for an autograph. And I went up really nervous. And I said, sorry, I'm a big fan, can I have an autograph? And he basically told me to fuck off. Like, I felt so small. Like, I felt so pathetic. And I still remember that feeling, like, I've got, oh my God. Like, and so that was a life lesson. So no matter where I am, anywhere, any young lad comes up, Rory Stories, photograph, whatever, straight away, remember that moment. And I don't want that young lad to feel like that. You get me? And that's the way it needs to be. Like it goes back to what I'm saying, stars. It doesn't take too much effort just to be nice. Like just literally say hello to people and do good deeds if you can. You obviously can't be a complete yes man, but if you can help someone out and make them feel a bit better. There's a great saying, it's called feed the soul, not the wallet. Like do stuff that makes you feel good. Money, people think money makes you feel great. It doesn't. Yeah, it's grand to have money, but it's doing good gestures is what makes you really kind of go, wow, like I feel fucking great after that. So that's just I know it's a long-winded add-on to what you said, but that's kind of my belief in it anyway.
No, it's lovely to hear your thought process on that because, as I said, I've suffered with mental health myself, and the platform that I've built from the Liverpool channel that I'm known for, I see a psychologist regularly and have done for many, many years. And I remember starting out on the channel when it really started to grow. I said to my psychologist, look, I'm not coping well with this. I don't understand why people watch, or don't understand why people like me, or don't understand. It's a very Irish trait, isn't it, to kind of run ourselves down a bit. And he said two things to me. He said, one, you're having some success because successful people aren't just lucky people. They put themselves out into the world and they give themselves that chance. So it's no accident. If you didn't put yourself out into the world, you wouldn't get an opportunity. And he also said to me, take the feedback as a hint of the person you're looking to try and figure out who you are. So take how people view you or see you, and those nice words, take them on board and take that as a hint as to who you may be. Because we all have this deep search for who are we, who am I? And you and I probably grew up in a similar generation where it wasn't really the norm to speak about your feelings. I mean, maybe talk to your mum or you talk to your brother or sister or whatever, but you certainly wouldn't go to a psychologist or a psychiatrist, or you might go to the GP. And we both know the horrible statistic about, men under 30 in Ireland and suicide. And one thing I have to say, buddy, is I'm so proud of this generation. I mean, you're somebody who does the circuit. You speak to kids, you speak to teenagers, you give your own life story and what you've been through. And you have to say that this generation are doing us proud, mate, with the way that they're standing up and they're willing to open and talk about their feelings and support each other as well.
Yeah, like you hit the nail on the head. Like, and when I was in school, like secondary school, there was no such. I never even heard the word depression. I never even heard the word mental health. And that's when I needed to hear it most, because I struggled in school. I was like dyslexic and very bad at reading and writing, and like I was told I would never amount to anything in school. And anytime I hit a bit of adversity, then over the following years, that little voice in my head would be like, "Going, you are useless, like you are." And it took a long time to attack that. You can't keep going and listening to this voice in your ear saying that you're no good, because what happens is that voice gets louder, and then what happens is you believe it. And generally what happens then, Craig, is you turn to a coping mechanism, which is alcohol, drugs, gambling. Like, they all make you feel better, like, but you're just letting that voice go away with false hope. Like, so you need to just basically, I suppose, ask for help is the main thing, and just understand that it is okay to have these demons. And that's why I speak a lot about my own story, because I know like that people will listen and be like, geez, well, if Rory has it, maybe I can talk about it as well. And that's something that, I just don't want other people holding it in like I did for a long time, like, and just letting on, yeah, everyone's grand, everyone's great, yeah, not bothering me, and I'm 100% and all. And it's just like, no, pal, like you're not. And I see it in some of my friends even now, they let on, yeah, everyone's great. And I'm too experienced, like, again, like I don't have the diplomas or the degrees, but I have a great, like, I suppose the way I was brought up and the experience I've had, I have a great way of judging if someone is kind of putting on that mask, which, and it's generally the lad who's making a lot of noise in the pub or making a lot of noise in the changing room, like, and trying really hard to cover up that they're not happy, like by being funny or by joking or whatever. And that's like, you hear of a lot of suicides among young men, and you often ask, tell us about them. And 9 times out of 10, it's like, oh, Jesus, he was the life and soul of the party. He was great crack, never seen it coming. So now, like, they're the kind of lads that I keep an eye on, like, to go, like, are you okay? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, do you need to talk about it? And that's as much as we can do. We need the person on the other side of the table to say, you know what, you're dead right. I'm not in a good place. And then at least we have them then, and we can give them a bit of help then, but we need them to put the hand in the air and say, you know what, you're fucking dead right. I am putting on a face here. I am putting on a mask. I want to attack this demon in my head, because as you know, the demon never goes away. The demon comes to visit me every couple of weeks, and when he's there, I'm very low. But suicide doesn't enter my mind anymore. That's gone. That's never an option anymore, because I know that this demon will go away. How do I manage it? I exercise. I talk about it. I do a bit of meditating. I do whatever I can for the fucking demon to get out of my head. Like, and then it goes, and you're suddenly like, Jesus, I feel great again. And why did I feel so low? And that's just the way it is. It's a constant circle. It's like up, down, and it's living with depression, basically, is what it is. But I do know if you don't talk about it, or you don't address that demon in your head, the demon will get louder and louder and louder, and suddenly you'll see no way out for yourself. And that's when suicide thoughts come into the mind. And again, I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not saying I know it all. I'm just giving my opinion on it from my own inside of my head. I make it very clear that I don't want to be like psychiatrist and talking straight about mental health. I'm just giving my life experiences to try and help even one person that even maybe listen to this, or that might follow Rory's stories or whatever. But it's just the more of us that open up, like yourself, Craig, myself, and other lads, the more will follow. And then in 10 years' time, everyone will be happy to talk about their good and bad days. You know what I mean? Like,
one thing you said there just hit home to me. I lost a friend on my football team who was the life and soul of the party, who took his own life, and everything that you've said there is exactly true. You never would have thought of it. If you weren't maybe a bit more knowledgeable down the line at the time, you just think, God, not him. Anybody but him. And it's absolutely right. We don't know, touching back on what you said earlier on about being nice, or, you know, at least trying to be nice, or say nothing, as your mother would say. If you've nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. You never know whether you be on social media or whether you be in person, what that other person's going through by looking at them, what's in their mind, what type of day that they've had, if they're going through a tough time financially at home, and even just taking a minute out of your day to say, how are you, or hope things are well, you know, it can make a massive difference.
Yeah, like, I know, like, the whole when Caroline Flack took her life, and it's like hashtag be kind, and a lot of noise was made, but like that was soon forgotten. Like listen, you're big into your football. People listening are, you know, them Premiership players, for example, like, you know, they miss a shot, or the England footballers, perfect example. The lads who miss the penalties, like, you know, Rashford, like getting the racism, like race abuse, and like what I try to preach. There's some people who just won't change their mindset. They're old school, they're negative, they've bad vibes. That's fine, but it's more the young generation that I kind of concentrate on. Is like, before you write that tweet, or you send a message, or you comment on a post, just take a moment to say, what good is going to come out of this? Like, what like, genuinely, like, say, right, they'll read the comment, they're obviously not going to like it, but what does it prove? Does that make you feel better about yourself? Because if it does, it's very obvious you have an inner issue yourself. And that's something I've learned through speaking to experts like yourself, is that people who hate on others, it's all down to they have something inside them that they need to address themselves.
They're deflecting, yeah. They're absolutely deflecting.
Back on them, and that's, again, something that I've learned, is that when people are having to go at you, like, you know, yes, it is personal, but it's more they're just taking their inner rage out on you. And I'd love to sit these people, I'd love to bring these people to Hell Week and let the DSs go at them. And I guarantee it all break down, like, you're right, you're dead right, and I want to change. Like, I don't want to be this negative person. And a lot of it comes back to issues when we were younger. It really does. Like, you know, a lot of that we've never addressed. Me, with my education, I didn't address it for a long time. Until last few years, I addressed it, and I've kind of got over that fact now, that I hated that teacher in school. Like, if I could box one fella, I'd box him, and all this anger was built up in me. But I've released it now, saying it's done, learn from it, and move on, and accept that teacher obviously had their own internal issues that wanted to be taken out on me at school. So, yeah, it's just about everyone looking in the mirror and say, why am I so negative? Why have I so much anger towards a certain person? I need to get help. And that's another massive part of mental health. It's not necessarily wanting to take your life. It's also dealing with the anger that's inside you for other people. And we know so much in the last few years, but we know nothing, if that makes sense. We're only scratching at the surface. Like, you know, all of us making this noise about it. In 20 years' time, we'll all look back going, Jesus, them human beings done everything arseways. You know what I mean? Like, but it's changing. You're right. We are proud of this generation. And I just want to, as a man says, leave the hat or leave the jersey in a better position for my kids and your kids coming through, that they can talk about their feelings without getting, oh, you're gay, and oh, you're soft, and all these lingos that we use when we were younger, which is, you know, it's difficult to come out when.
And we did use them. Let's be honest. We did use them. Like, that's the thing. We did, yeah. That's the truth of this. And again, I'm loving your openness and honesty here. And look, I expected nothing less. That's the type of man you are. But what hurts me, and I don't know if you receive much trolling or have received much, but what always hurts me is the ones that we doubt ourselves about anyway. So, you know, if somebody points out, for instance, my weight as an example, that's something I'm well aware about, or be insecure about. So they're the ones that hit home. But what I'd often say is, there's a divide between people in society, and we're constantly, everything we look at wants to divide us, mate, whether it's sport, politics, everything is news, is just in our face 24/7, bang, 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 divisiveness. And what I found is, if you can just chat with someone, if you can sit down or, you know, take time out of your day on Twitter to actually interact, you'll probably find common ground somewhere. And you'll probably then go away and not have that anger. Because like you spoke about your own anger. I went to anger management. I carried it around for years, mate. I hate the world. Why did this happen to me? Why did that happen to me? I was going around my shoulders tensed all the time, having panic attacks. It just wasn't good for my health. I was in a constant state of fight or flight, constantly. And it's just no good. And when I let that anger go, mate, and it's only been in the past couple of years, my life has just gone to another level. I've just never felt feelings I've never felt before. I've been able to be softer, accept love, give love, and be somebody that, you know, I grew up and I came from a fairly hardy family. And I thought that's the man I was supposed to be. Nobody told me that. Nobody pushed me into it. But, you know, I've hardy uncles, hardy father, and I thought that's the man I was supposed to be. But it wasn't the man I was. And it was on that journey of finding out who I was. And when I finally accepted that, man, it's just been such a better experience in life. And I've been having so much more fun.
Yeah, like it's so refreshing even to hear you saying it back to me, because everything you're saying, I fully agree with you. Do you know what I mean? And that's what we're trying. There's a great saying that, like, what's it? It's Oscar Wilde. It's basically be yourself because everyone else is taken. Like, you know, it's a brilliant philosophy, because at the end of the day, like, if you go around trying to be, say, for instance, this hard man or this kind of macho man with it, you're really, you're insecure, but you're trying to let on that, no, I bay him and I do this, and I know this fella, and like just trying to put on this, like, out of sight, out of mind. I guarantee these people are like, why did I say that? That wasn't me. Like, and until you, again, it goes back to addressing yourself, and we need help for that. Like, once we're into putting the hand in the air, there's trained people who got these degrees and diplomas, psychiatrists who will sit down and get into your mind and say, right, try this. And all of a sudden, wow, I feel so much better. And as you said, like, your life becomes a much happier place. And at the end of the day, like, life is all about being happy, like, and doing what makes you happy. And it's stuff that, most people do that should make you happy, doesn't make you happy. You need to stop the car, put it in reverse, go back and go down the road. Because, like, I always often think about, for instance, like when I was in school, sixth year, there wasn't one openly gay fella in the whole of the sixth year, not one. And I'd imagine there's at least 20 of them now that are openly gay, or else they're in a relationship where they want to jump sync, whatever it may be. But because the way the persona of ego with men was, they were not able to say, I fancy other men, because why? People would bully them. People would make their life not worth living, and they'd say it's not worth it. It's like, look at the Premiership footballers. You can probably count on one hand the amount of them that are openly gay. And I don't blame them to keep it to themselves, because they're hitting a corner in front of a packed stadium, and as all they're getting is gay slurred at them. Like, and it's horrible. But that's the society we still currently live in. And, like, I feel so sad for not just our generation, but our father's generation, who wouldn't dare open about being attracted to another man, or a woman being attracted to another woman. So we have changed society massively during our time here. But there's still a hell of a lot to go. As you know, I know marriage referendums was voted in, which was great. But you and I know that there's still a lot of the generation of old school that are still there and still will not accept that that's right. And that's, like, my own father. Like, there's no talking to him. And I have to respect that, because that's the way they were all reared, and that's the way it was back then. But it's up to us to go, hold on a minute. This is not right what you're doing. Like, you're causing serious mental health issues to a lot of young people. We need to change this. And that's where the likes myself, other people who are making noise on the issue are starting to kind of bang a few drums. And the young people now are coming along going, yeah, I'm gay, or yeah, I'm bisexual, or wherever you are, and they're able to talk about it. And that's great. Do you know what I mean? Because I've no issue if my kids are gay, straight, whatever. I don't care, because I just happiness. It's all down to just waking up in the morning, them going out the door, happy in their own flesh and blood, happy with the person that they're looking at in the mirror. And because if you're not happy with the person you look at in the mirror, the world is a horrible place. It goes back to Denzel's saying, if the devil has you inside, outside is oblivious. It's just you and this demon, and I've been there, you've been there. It's a horrible place to be, but you just have to address it,
I've a daughter in sixth year myself, actually, funnily enough, and I know of at least 4 of her friends who are gay or bisexual, and nobody blinks. It's beautiful to see. Nobody blinks. Yeah. Why should they? It's out, they're happy, they're living their best life. That's all we can want for our kids and for our kids' friends. And I'll tell you, before we finish up, one little story from my own side is, I have a young son, he's 9. And when he was born, my wife noticed he wasn't hitting certain milestones of development along the way. She was far better at this than I was. I was like, he'll be grand, ignorant.
Yeah,
And she spotted that she thought he might have had autism. So she sent him to be assessed. We brought him to a beautiful place in Sandyford called the Adult and Children Education Centre. And he was assessed there. He was diagnosed with autism. But at the same time, I went through my entire life, mate, thinking I was a cranky arsehole, because I couldn't, like, if people were talking in a room and someone else spoke to me, I kind of snapped back. But eventually, I was diagnosed at the age of 34 with Asperger's, which meant that part of my anxiety is just the way I'm wired. And I have hearing sensory issues, which is why I can't differentiate between competing sounds and stuff. So just to know that and hear that, it freed me up dramatically, because I didn't care. It helped me release some of that anger. I realized that there's no wow moment. There's not going to be a moment in a psychologist's chair where we crack what's caused my anxiety. It's just part of who I am, and it's part of who I'm going to be. And once I heard that and was able to accept that, it changed my life, mate. And I look back at my mum, who took her own life through suicide, and I see a lot of similarities in me and her. And I just think how lucky I am that we're at a point in the world where I was able to be diagnosed and it was well known about. Whereas I look at, my mum or past generations and think probably had the exact same traits, and if only they could have had the services or the awareness that we have now, because of good people out there doing hard work, trying to spread awareness about autism and mental health or whatever else it might be. I'm extremely grateful, mate. I really count my chickens every day, because it might not have happened one generation ago.
Yeah, but again, the fact now that once you know what your problem is, you can work with it. Again, it's like living with depression. I know every now and again the negative vibes is going to hit the head, and it's like being in a bad match where the ball's not going your way, and you just got to dog it out, and you just got to give it as best you can, and you lose the match and you feel a bit low, but the next day you go out, you have a great game and you win. And that's like kind of mental health summed up. Like, there's just good days and bad days, and when the bad days are there, for me, it's just about getting through the bad days. Just get through whatever you got to do. Like, if you need to turn off your social media for a couple of days because you don't need any negativity, do it. If you want to go for a long walk in the evening, do it. If you want to ring a pal you haven't spoken to in a while, ring him. But then it all of a sudden, like a switch, it switches and you're back in yourself again. And the lovely feeling when you go, I feel myself again. The sun is shining on you and you just feel a bit of life in you again. And it's a lovely feeling. And then you continue until it hits you again. And that's, for me, I understand that is the way I work. And once you understand it, you can deal with it. And listen, Craig, if a few years' time, if it's coming more regular and the demons are getting worse, I'll put my hand in the air and say, yeah, I need to go and get a couple of weeks in a hospital ever to get my head right. I'll do it. Like, and it's all about being here tomorrow. That's literally what it is. It's all about just being here tomorrow and understanding that you are loved. Like, you mightn't think you are, but someone loves you like they do. And by you taking your own life, you're basically taking your circle with you, because their lives are never going to be the same again. Like, I've seen it myself. I've had suicide. I've had a good friend who took his life only a few weeks ago, and I see it already. People will never recover. I've had a cousin who done it. People don't recover. So that's what you need to understand when the demons are really at you going, you're bringing a lot of people with you. It's not just you, and just that the help is there,
Yeah, it certainly is there, mate. And I've noticed, even if I have to take 4 or 5 days off from doing YouTube or something because I need that break from social media, whatever it is, I've only ever find support in the community that I have when people say, we understand. Take your time off. People are starting to understand that it's needed. We need this mental break. We need a few days away. We need to talk to a mate or whatever it might be. And I'd love to continue to carry on talking, mate, but time has finally beaten us on this one. But I want to just let people know, or you let people know, where they can find you, what you have coming up, and where they can find out more about Rory Stories and your journey.
Yeah, so Rory Stories it's on all social media, your YouTube, your Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I have a few books out. The main book is Rory Stories. So if you're interested in the kind of stuff I said, it's a really honest read about my journey through education and through gambling addiction and all that kind of stuff. And then the Hell Week show is coming up, which I definitely urge people to watch. If people are tuned in from England, you might get it on the RT Player or whatever it may be, but it's definitely worth a watch, because not just me, but a lot of other people really get cut to their soul, and you see real people in all their glory. And I think it's going to make for really good TV. Like,
Rory, it has been an absolute pleasure, my man. Keep doing what you're doing. You're doing us all proud. You're doing Irish men proud. You're doing the country proud, and you're doing yourself and your family proud, mate. It's been a pleasure chatting with you. I really appreciate you giving up your time. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Rory Stories, aka Rory O'Connor. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Craig. Top man. Thanks.